Talk about I'll call it an entrepreneur journey. Ever since I got into conservation, I grew up with lots of pets at home, but it's only when I got an opportunity to set up a wildlife club at high school that I really realized that I enjoyed setting up things. They asked me to revive the wildlife club. I was in my last year of high school, Chibuli Secondary School, and we were able to take the children to Queen Elizabeth National Park at a time when there was very few predators, that we could even take walks, and there was very little wildlife. But this really touched my heart, and I felt that, yeah, I want to be a vet who works with wildlife, because I just saw that there were hardly any animals in the park. Then when I started vet school, knowing that I'm going to be a vet who also works with wildlife, I got an opportunity to work with chimps at the zoo. Many people don't know that I worked with chimps before I worked with gorillas. And then eventually gorillas at Bwindi. So by the time I spent a month there doing research on parasites in the gorillas, visited by tourists and one by a researcher, I felt like I wanted to be a full-time wildlife vet. So I wrote to the head of Uganda National Parks, and I said to him, you need a vet, and this is what a wildlife vet can do for you. And to my surprise, he said to me, yeah, your job is waiting for you. And I was really shocked. So then I eventually got this opportunity to be the first vet for the Wildlife Authority, because they needed a vet because gorilla tourism had begun, and they were concerned that tourists would make gorillas sick. But one of the first cases I had to deal with was actually local communities making gorillas sick. They got scabies from going into people's gardens to eat their banana plants. Then after that, we set up conservation through public health with my husband, and he was the first donor with $100 to CTPH. And then also somebody else, a vet technician from Ministry of Agriculture. And we've been on a journey of improving the health of gorillas and people together, and also the livelihoods of people. And when the pandemic began, people began to really realize why One Health is important. So I'm excited that at this conference there's a whole One Health pavilion, which never used to be the case 20 years ago. And my husband actually came up with the idea of gorilla conservation coffee. It's here in the Mailasili Pavilion, which is fantastic. And gorilla conservation coffee is something that we found we need to support the farmers living around the park, because they're not part of the tourism industry. And so we started to engage them, and we're building a global coffee brand to save gorillas one sip at a time. And with support from World Wildlife Fund Switzerland, we joined their Impact Investment for Conservation program. And I'm building up my team. I'm learning a lot through the Mailasili Leadership Program, how to get them all to become leaders. I'm the Vice President of the African Primate Society, which is building African leadership in conservation. If you think that there's something you want to do, just go ahead and do it. And to be really open-minded, learn from others along the way, and be ready to teach others along the way. And it's just been really amazing, just being along this journey. And it's really inspiring that there's so many more African leaders coming up in conservation, which wasn't the case when I started my journey, I would say maybe 30 years ago. And I really want to thank Mailasili for continuing to promote this. Thank you all for the great support.